What is up, guys? Welcome to a Straight Edge Wrestling Breaking News podcast. We have a lot of things to cover today. We have quite a few bits that have come out in the last 24 hours since the Royal Rumble. We're going to go straight on in with perhaps one of the biggest news stories which has come out in the last day, as has been reported by the Pro Wrestling Torch, and it has not yet been confirmed by Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer, but he has said that he has heard chat of it too. Dean Ambrose appears to be leaving the WWE after WrestleMania 35 this year. His contract expires after WrestleMania, and he has not yet opted to renew it. He doesn't really wish to continue working for the WWE. Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer radio this week noted that Ambrose has been a very vocal opponent to kooky stuff that WWE does. He doesn't like doing scripted promos. He doesn't like doing cheesy scripted interviews. He likes to be able to work on the fly, and he really just doesn't appreciate being micromanaged quite so much by the WWE, and that may have been quite a big factor into him deciding not to re-sign. Of course, we've got 69 days until WrestleMania, so a couple of months left where he could renegotiate a deal. But as it stands right now, it appears that as of WrestleMania, when the WrestleMania season's finished, Dean Ambrose will no longer be a WWE superstar anymore. But hopefully that can change. But the Pro Wrestling Torch right now is reporting, as are many other news sites such as PW Insider, they are saying that Dean Ambrose will not be re-signing with the WWE after WrestleMania. We also have some other little tidbits that have been coming out in the last couple of days. So we have finally got the WrestleMania main events somewhat booked. So the first one that WWE has officially announced is Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Last night on Raw, we saw Rollins have to make his decision between Bryan and Lesnar, and at the end of the night, Rollins coming face to face with Brock Lesnar, punching him square in the face before being laid out by Brock with 5 consecutive F5s, one on the title. With Seth leaning up against the ropes, shouting at Brock, "Is that all you got, Brock?" It was a good ending, good way to start off that little feud. They've got so many ways they can go with this, because obviously they can use the Roman angle and the Shield angle. They can use the fact that it was Seth Rollins who took the title off of Brock when he cashed in Money in the Bank all those years ago. So they have got a little bit of back history that they can use with this story, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good match. Brock always performs well with the smaller guys, with the faster guys, with the more agile guys, and Rollins is right up there. So that should be a good match. We also had, last night, we had Becky Lynch on Raw calling out Ronda Rousey, where she said that she is challenging Ronda for the WWE Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania, something which we all have obviously expected for some time, much like Rollins and Lesnar. That's been reported for months and months and months now that that's the way to go. But we have finally had some confirmation as to Ronda and Becky. However, it is still not the case that it's going to be a single match. It does still appear that it will be a triple threat match, that Charlotte Flair will be added into the mix at some point. How we get to Charlotte, we don't know. It's kind of a shame, because Ronda and Becky got a hell of a reaction last night with that promo. Hell of a reaction. The crowd was popping huge. But WWE, as Wrestling Observer Radio is reporting, WWE as of last night was still of the impression that Charlotte will be added to the WrestleMania match and made into a triple threat match. Whether it's the right call, who knows? I personally would have preferred the singles match, seeing as the hellacious reaction the pair got. But hey, hopefully that changes. But as of right now, it seems that it will be the triple threat match. But WWE is promoting just Ronda versus Becky for WrestleMania at the moment. So how we go from here, who knows yet? We've also had some news about Ember Moon. So Ember Moon was supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber qualifying matches last night. However, she has to undergo some shoulder surgery, so she was pulled and replaced, I believe, with Dana Brooke last night. The whole of Raw last night, as reported by Fightful.com on their Select service, has was rewritten, and the script was only in place 30 minutes before the show went on air, because they were bringing in lots of new producers, which I'll get onto in a minute. They were bringing on lots of new producers. There was the SmackDown talent there. They hadn't really decided where the show was going to go, and I think the show did pretty damn well with such a limited amount of time to actually produce it. But Ember Moon was pulled from her match and is expected to undergo shoulder surgery, so we don't know what any sort of anticipated recovery time and recuperation time is on that. So at the beginning of last week, we had a lot of news of multiple producers coming into WWE. Two from TNA, in fact. So former TNA superstar Abyss, as well as Sonjay Dutt, have been hired by the WWE. Looks like they may go into NXT. We're not too sure about where they'll be producing, but Triple H confirmed that Sonjay Dutt and Abyss have been signed by the WWE and will be starting any day now. They may have already started. We don't quite know, and we don't know if it's going to be main roster or NXT. Now, we also have news that Shane Helms, the Hurricane, has been hired by WWE once again to act as a road agent. I mean, that's as good a choice you can get, I would say. That the man has done everything. He's done serious angles, comedy skits. He's worked as a tag team wrestler, a solo artist. He's worked, big angles with The Rock and pretty much everyone you can think of. He's into a lot of areas within wrestling, so I think that's a great move, getting him in as a producer for the WWE. But maybe the biggest one is that the WWE has hired Jeff Jarrett, that's right, Double J Jeff Jarrett, as a producer for the main roster. He was on the show last night. He was also on Raw Rumble 2 nights ago, entry number 2 into the Rumble, in fact, coming back down in his 1990s gear. He was on Raw last night, coming down and doing a duet with the Road Dogg, head writer of SmackDown, Road Dogg Brian James, singing With My Baby Tonight before being laid out by Elias. But it appears that Jeff Jarrett has been hired as a producer for the WWE. It's been a hell of a ride. I mean, his last match in the WWE before Royal Rumble was 1999, 20 years ago. That was his last match. And it's a bizarre thing. He left the WWE, went to WCW, then started up TNA, was in TNA for the best part of nearly last 20 years, and then he studied Global Force and ended up back in the WWE. It's quite a story, really. The Jeff Jarrett story is really impressive, how he actually has managed back in WWE. It's something which, if you'd have told me 5 years ago that Jeff Jarrett would be a WWE producer, I'd have told you to get the F out, because I would never have thought that Jeff Jarrett would be back in the WWE, not in a million. But I'm so happy for him. He's got so much to offer. He seems like to have, mellowed down, calmed down, and changed quite a bit in the last few years. So all the power to him. And I think he is absolutely a dead fit for this role. But they also want to use him in front of the camera a bit more. What that means, who knows? I shouldn't think they're going to want to use him as a full-time wrestler, but who knows? There has been reports that they do wish to use him in some capacity in front of the camera as well, which I'm all for as well, because last night and the Rumble, there's two things which stood out to me about Jeff Jarrett. So firstly, the man can throw a punch like better than 99.9% of that roster. People should be watching how that man works in the ring and how real he can make it look, how stiff he makes it look without hurting anybody. That's what they should be emulating. They really, really should. As well as his mic work. Last night, it proves it again. He is killer on the mic. He has always been killer on the mic. And people can learn from that. And in a road agent position, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. But anyway, we have had some big news events coming out in the last 24 hours. Of course, Dean Ambrose perhaps leaving the WWE after WrestleMania being the biggest one. And then we have had our 2 WrestleMania main events announced. Somewhat announced, I should say. And then we've got our producer roles. So that's it for this Straight Edge Wrestling Breaking News podcast. Head on over to Twitter at SEW_podcast for all the latest breaking news as and when it comes out. Head on over to straightedgewrestling.com. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. All the links are down below. And I'll see you next time. I'm out.